Alright guys, for these of you just turning, I'm waiting for a little bit of people to go in. Last time I did this, it kind of took off after about like 10-15 minutes and I had to like go over the intro again. So I'm letting some people file in before I really get started. Hey guys. I'm on my dashboard. I also want to get my dashboard up online because I don't have my, due to the summit, I still don't have my second monitor plugged in yet. So I want to be able to get chat here on my tablet, so I can answer questions from my tablet because I don't have my secondary monitor. Not even sure if I'm showing up on the page yet. No, it does not appear so. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get started here in just a second. I'm probably going to run down and get a charger for this, but we'll get started in like 5 minutes. You can listen to my wonderful Shoegaze Christmas playlist. Actually, it's only got one Shoegaze song. It's just the low version of Little Drummer Boy. Little Drummer Boy. Let's see. Can I not just search? Aha. Welcome to my chat room. That's perfect. Okay. My delay's on like nothing. 0 delay. Voodoo. By the way, Voodoo, I was going to tell you on Twitter, I want to go out to eat with yourself and your woman and myself and my woman to pay you back for the beer you shipped me to Alabama. I'll be in Birmingham like the 22nd to the 24th, so we should go out and get a bite to eat so I can pay you back for that. Audio up or voice up? Yeah, I don't have any of these levels set up at all. My mic's actually all the way up on here. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. I just need to get closer to my phone. Okay. I'm going to go get a charger, guys, and I'll be right back, and we're going to dive into the update. Okay, fantastic. It was much closer than I thought. Okay. Is it actually keeping up? Oh, gosh. I've been up for a long time today. We had a big BTS end of the year meeting. Okay, this is not wanting to keep me up to date on my chat. Why is that? Sorry guys, 1 second. I want to be able to check the chat. Like I said before, I don't have my double monitor set up yet. Alright, can we just show chat only? Yes. Watch my own pre-rolls, that's great. Even though I never run ads. This ad apparently supports me. Okay guys, so I have not read through the patch notes at all. I'm coming into this completely fresh. Like I said, we were having a big BTS end of the year meeting for the last like 7 hours. Fun stuff. And so we just got done with it, and surprise, surprise, there's a gameplay update. I don't think any of us were even expecting this quick. And some of us even talked to IceFrog occasionally. I know I've given him a little bit of feedback. Not much, like very little. Alright, can I get my chat only that I asked for? I don't want to see myself. What is this? Chat only, yes. Apply. Okay, that's not giving me chat only, guys. Come on. What is this? Aha! There we go. Except it's not letting me. Okay. So, the way I do things, if you haven't watched me go through a test client gameplay update before, is I am not a pro player, nor am I terribly good at Dota, like a pro level. So I'm not really going to go in to like the competitive aspect of things. I might give my opinions. Those opinions may be shit. But it's just kind of what I think about it. What I'm interested in is showing the test client and actually showing you the changes that happen. So if there's been a change in somebody's ult that looks really cool, I'll like show you how it happens. And if I think that there's a cool way that it works, a weird synergy, or if anybody has questions about how something will work, I'll test it and show it. So we're really like digging into the nitty gritty here. We're not really asking, is this good or is this bad? We're asking like, how does it work in the game, basically. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at is the fact that first rune spawns are now both bounty runes that are twice as effective. I'm also going to have to remember to, so let's get into the game and let's look at that. I'm also going to have to remember my shortcuts to like create heroes and stuff. Aha, here it is. Alright. Let's just play ABBA. I might need to turn down my game audio. It might overwhelm my voice. Alright. Oh god, it's even loud in my ears.
Prepare for battle.
Okay. I don't know if there is a rune spawn code. Let's look that up. Aha, there is a spawn. Okay, so the spawn rune command might not work, so we might kind of fuck ourselves here, but we'll give it a try. Also need to turn this to where this will not turn off. Oh well. Let's go ahead and get to the rune, and we'll just do. Hopefully our spawn rune, I believe. Aha! Okay, well, no, fuck. God damn it. Alright, we're gonna have to start this again then. So apparently the spawn rune command does not work. That's one thing to learn. Alright. Like we said, just went over and said that both runes should be bounty runes, so we're just going to have to sit and wait for a minute.
All pick.
Oh, this is new. I just entered in so fast. Yeah, I'm going to turn that volume somewhere. Alright.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, that is an interesting change for the face boots. There now. Going right. Such a minor change, just to help the OCD of us. I really need to make it black. This screen does not hide. I haven't been able to read the whole patch yet. I'm going through this for the first time. Okay. Display. Sleep. Never. Alright, good. Now I should be able to have you up on the side full time. We're just waiting for these runes to spawn for now, so I can just show you that they're both going to be bounty runes. They're doubly effective. Usually, like, more banal changes I won't show. I've already seen the Abaddon changes, and they're so minor. They're like number changes, so I won't go through those. We'll read through them, but I won't, like, explain it or show in the test client. It's also important because I can actually report bugs. If I go through all these and see if something doesn't happen the way it's supposed to, I can report it as a bug. So there you go, there's a bounty rune. And normally, you'd only get 50 gold. Here I get 100 gold. And experience. Which is halfway to level 2, which is actually huge. Halfway to level 2 is pretty important. And as you see here, as I get the bounty rune that is bottom as well, I will get, and you can see some of the pretty map changes with the presence under the tree. I'm now level 2. Strictly from bounty runes that spawn at the beginning of the game. So good. About this, balance-wise, I know a lot of players at the Summit were kind of complaining. Specifically, there's a Zycast with some of the Swedish players. I think they were talking about the 0-minute runes and how getting like a haste rune or an invisibility rune is really kind of broken. And it's just kind of RNG in the game, and they don't like it that much. So having these both be bounty runes, both be the same amount, means that these 0-minute runes are still important, and you still want them because it gets you half a level. But it's not as broken as, praying to RNGesus and getting that, 0-minute invis or haste rune. So let's look back at the changes. So that we went through, and all illusions now do 25% less damage to structures. I'm not really gonna look at that, but big nerf to illusion-based split pushers like Terrorblade, Naga Siren, etc. Melee and ranged barracks bounty has been reduced from 352, 370 to 100 to 150, but they now give X amount to each player. So now they feel more like tower kills, and that everybody gets gold from killing barracks. I always thought that was weird that killing a tower gives global gold, but killing barracks does not. The ward location, this is actually super important. Let's look at that. So, I'll show. I'm going to show this in game. Previously, there's this really good ward spot. Specifically, this one right here. Right here. Very good vision. As you can just see from my hero, it gives a lot of really good vision. It gives vision all the way down to this tower. It gives vision to ancients. It gives vision of people. If you remember the Cloud9 VG Gaming game where Black, Isis Eyes blinked in, ravaged on like 5 heroes right here as they were grouping up to smoke, and then he got the double chrono off and basically sealed the game by killing them all off. That was due to the vision of this very ward. Players are complaining about how strong the ward was because if you were a melee support, you couldn't deward it. You could previously not path up to here. So if you were a melee support, you threw a sentry ward up here and saw it, you still couldn't kill it because there was no way to like blink or burrow strike up here and just attack it manually. You had to have a ranged support to get up to it. So it's really hard to deward. So now it's much easier to deward if you're like a melee support, like a Sand King with a blink dagger or a burrow strike, just some way to get up there and attack it yourself. Just makes it a lot. It was just too good of a ward spot. It's basically just a nerf to the ward spot because it was too good. Alright. Ancient Granite Golem health has been reduced from 2000 to 1700, but is now given an aura which grants 15% bonus health to its allies. This is a direct buff to Chen. Now, Granite Golem is the Ancient, if I'm not being an idiot. I'm pretty sure that's the Ancient. Let's see if we can get here, and if this one isn't it, we can... Okay, yeah, here we go. Ancient Granite Golem. Granite Aura. Oh, God. Increases the health capacity of nearby units. Oh god, don't kill me. So that means that Ag's Chen is now actually kind of decent. You can get, you can at the end of the game. Well, actually, let's just look at it. Let's just do it. That should be pretty fun to see. Let me get back in game here. So yeah, previously Ag's Chen was kind of cool that you could get Ancients, but they didn't really give any good auras. They were kind of cool. You could get the dragons that had a ranged attack and that splashed kind of. But to be honest, it wasn't that great. And Chen is in a pretty bad spot. He's one of the least picked heroes in the game right now. So. And I forgot, I know it's something like Ultimate Scepter, but I'm just going to blink over there and buy everything I need. Devout Dagger. Because I don't feel like looking at it. Oh gosh, WTF. In your name. Alright. Now we're gonna have to wait till one of these ancients spawn, unfortunately, so we'll have to just enjoy listening to some music. The better to increase my flock. No, we're good now. You can see, right? Okay. A pious path. 30 seconds. Yeah, I always forget to get rid of the overlay when I was swapping back and forth. Sorry. As you say. Leap of faith. God willing. So just chilling, waiting for the ancients to spawn, unfortunately. So yeah, what we're talking about here is the ancient Granite Golem change. Is there a way to spawn ancients through a cheat? Let's look at that. Ah, spawn neutrals. I don't know if that spawns ancients, but let's look at that.
Yes.
Aha, okay, sweet. I can just do that. But apparently it doesn't get rid of them. Alright, we'll just stack them.
Guide me.
Actually, let's look and see what the other ancient camp has. And then we'll stack if need be. Double dragons.
A healing hand. As Obelisk directs.
Let's go ahead and do that. What's up, dragon dude?
May it please you.
Don't block. Hopefully I did a good job. Aha, I got him. Alright.
As Obelisk directs.
So now, you can get an ancient golem. And he'll give you an HP buff. Health increased by 15% due to having this buddy on my team. And it will also give it to the ancient black dragon, giving him a massive 2,592 HP.
Reward.
So pretty strong. Pretty good. So now Axe Chin is actually decent if you can get this guy. Heroes with a lot of base HP get a shit ton more. If you get carries that get a heart often, it's just scales really, really well. 15% base HP increase is no joke. So it's really good for Chin. Alright, other changes. Make sure this is showing. OBS, please. There we go. Private lobby games now use Captain's Mode creep spawn timer. That's fine. It just means when you do all pick in a private lobby, it won't spawn faster than it's supposed to. Maximum attack speed is increased from 500 to 600. There used to be an artificial cap placed on attack speed that was kind of a holdover from Dota 1, I believe. And so that means that when Rangers focus fire means that if you have, you can just attack even faster. There's no artificial cap there anymore. The following abilities no longer have restrictions when cast on spell immune allies. That means it goes through ally BKB. X marks the spot, Empower, Living Armor, and Shadow Word. Which all of those are really good. It's kind of reflecting some of the changes we've seen with like Dazzle being able to Shallow Grave someone through BKB. It used to be Empower was you couldn't cast it on someone that was spell immune, but if he popped his BKB, it would purge it. And so if you couldn't have BKB with Empower on and then pop BKB because then you'd lose your Empower, and that was kind of stupid. So it wasn't very good. Living Armor with BKB is okay. Living Armor's real strength is early, but it's not bad. And so fun stuff in general. Tooltips for Vanguard, Stout Shield, Poor Man's Shield, and Crimson Guard now reflect their eternal proc chance. Just means it's reflective of how it's actually worked for a while. Add Vision and Fog of War can be any numerical value rather than specific intervals. So that means that instead of your vision being like it depended on these fixed values, when you're maybe supposed to have like 120 vision, you had 64 vision instead because it rounded down. I'm not actually completely sure with how this works, but it just means that vision should feel more clean and smooth instead of like hopping between intervals. Alright, to heroes. Abaddon's borrowed time duration has been increased. So that's just good, strong. His ult got better. Good for Abaddon. Grievel's Greed base bonus gold is increased. Extra bonus gold per stack is increased to be at the 3rd level at all levels. So you can just, it's more of a value point, I think is what this is meaning. And the max bonus gold is increased from 230 at all levels. And the kill window has actually been increased. This is good for Alchemist. Unfortunately, I don't like carry Alchemist. It could be pretty boring. I remember like Alienware Cup time in late 2012, I think it was. Yeah, late 2012. Oh no, was it? No, it was early 2013. I can't remember when Alienware Cup was. Anyway, it was early 2013, I think, where Alchemists would get like Battle Fury, and you would have ridiculous Alchemist games. Like if you look back at like the GPM records on that Dota, which we can look at right now. A lot of alchemists during that time frame. So it's just basic. It's good. It just means you can go core alchemist and put 1 point in Grievel's Greed early, which is good. We're not going to show that because that's kind of boring to see. Battle Hunger duration has been rescaled to be 10 seconds at all levels, but they increased the damage. No, I hate Battle Hunger. It's so annoying. But the cast range has been decreased. The movement and slow has been increased, and the mana cost has been back to 75. So Battle Hunger has been juggled around a lot. There's been a lot of changes. It just got nerfed like outright a couple of patches ago, but everything else about Axe was increased. So they realized Axe is still not in a really good place. Let's buff his Battle Hunger back up. They make it do more damage. The duration is decreased. The cast range is decreased, but it gives more movement speeds, bonus to your teams, and more of a slow to the enemies. And the mana cost is lower at all levels, or not at all levels, at every level that's higher than 1. So that's good. Decreased Nightmare cooldown. Cool. Beastmaster, Call of the Wild now always provides a Hawk and Boar at each level, and each now scales per level. So we can look at this. So Hawk health got decreased, actually, or just scales like the middle levels better. It's lower at level 1, the same at level 4, but it actually increased. Movement speed has been changed. It just basically gave it intervals. And so it's lower at the beginning, the same at the end, but actually steps up higher. Same for sight, same for night sight, same for kill bounty, same thing for boar health, base damage, etc., etc. So let's just look and see what those changes actually mean for Beastmaster really fast. It goes through BKB on allies, spell immune allies specifically, not spell immune enemies. So you can't X marks the spot a BKB enemy, just an ally. Oh yeah, I forget you can get like all the items in the game in the test client, which is cool. All right, let's just look at it. So. Yeah, I don't really know what the change was before. Honestly, I haven't played a whole lot of Beastmaster before. So when it says it grants, always provides a Hawk and Bear at each level, and now scales per level. I know previously if you put up, I don't really remember what the change is. Unfortunately, I've been playing a Beastmaster in the last patch to know what the change actually is. Now they actually scale each per level though, instead of it being, actually we can go back and look. I know I didn't show the overlay, but I didn't really have much to show in Dota. I know you used to could change it where it went from W to E. Used to not be a boar at level 1. Okay. Man, I did not play enough Beastmaster. Okay, yeah, level 1 not available. Okay, that's the big change. You can get a boar at level 1, which is actually pretty strong. Because the boar's slow is significant. 10% movement slow and attack speed slow at level 1. It's not bad. I don't really know why he couldn't get one at level 1 before, but now he does, and it's a decent buff. It's not huge. The scaling's a little weird. I think it's technically a buff, even though at level 1 they're all weaker, but it just means at level 2 and 3 they're a little bit better. Or even at level 3 they're a little bit weaker, because usually they peaked out at level 3. Alright. See if we can get some more interesting changes. Bloodseeker has been added to Captain's mode. Yeah, he's a lot better at level 1 now. We have a Blood Psycha in Captain's mode though. That's fun. I don't know how much will get picked. I keep having when I hear people talking, it goes back and forth between whether or not it's actually good. So we'll see. Bounty Hunter's track bonus gold for self has increased by 50 at level 1, 75 at level 2, and 100 at level 3. It's not bad. And track cooldown has been reduced. So, Bounty Hunter wasn't getting picked a whole lot. Maybe he's a little bit better now. With these changes to track bonus gold, you could even see more, like, Track is really good as like a support ability. I actually didn't mind. There was like some 4-position bounty hunters I saw when you know that the team's going to go jungler. Just go around to the jungle and mess up their day. I think that's good, especially with this cooldown reduction and bonus gold. He could still be ran. He could still be ran as an offlaner maybe. Brewmaster. Base armor reduced from 4 to 2. Thunderclap slow duration decreased by 0.25 seconds, and the cooldown has been increased by 1. Small nerfs. Hero needed it. He was still getting picked like crazy. We look at pick rates for 6.82. He was still 6th most picked, and I think he was the most banned. Yeah, he was the most picked in banned hero in 6.82, so we can see here. 93.6, so well-deserved nerfs. I don't know if it's enough, honestly. It's still an insanely long slow time. 4 seconds of slow. Bristleback. Quill spray damage stack increased from 30 to 30, 32, 34, 36. That's okay. I mean, it's decent. It's a small buff to the amount of damage this Quill spray does. I don't think it's anything crazy. Spiderling's day vision has been reduced, so we actually have a slight nerf to Broodmother. It's interesting considering she's been in Captain's mode very recently and not played that much until, like, honestly the last month is when we started seeing her the most. The last couple of weeks, really. We saw her a little bit at the summit. Secret and Vici was running her and made her look. Ice Size made her look really, really good. The minus armor for Brewmaster does hurt a pretty good bit. Like 4 is a lot actually, especially for mid lane heroes. It means you can withstand a lot of harassment. And if you look at armor, going to armor, it means a damage reduction of 10.7% for damage dealing abilities, and 4 armor is 19.4. So about 10% more damage from physical attacks now, which is it's nothing to snuff at. It's not bad. Chaos Knight. Reality Rift damage increased. Man, these aren't really fun stuff I can show. These are more number changes. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Reality Rift damage has increased, which means when you Reality Rift, you get bonus damage on the next attack. I know a lot of people don't play Chaos Knight, don't know that. Reality Rift mana cost has been decreased to 50. It's really low, especially for Chaos Knight. He's got one of the lower end gains in the game. $1.2 per level. Not good at all. So a reduced Reality Rift mana cost is actually very, very good for him. And Phantasm Illusion duration has been increased again to a massive 42 seconds. And it was just buffed in the last patch, if we can see here. It was increased from 24 to 34, and now it's been increased to 42. So we've seen an increase from 24 to 42 for his Illusion duration just over the last couple of months. So that's really strong for Chaos Knight. I honestly thought he was one of the worst heroes in the game. Maybe now we'll see a lot more IO Wisp again, maybe. That's an insane illusion duration. That was what was really bad for him previously. It's like you got to burst damage with these. You can't really do a whole lot with them. But we had the illusion damage. We had this nerf up here to illusion damage to towers. So now he's less strong of a pusher, but I think this 10 seconds kind of evens that out. Test of Faith now teleports all of your units to you when cast on yourself. Well, let's go look at that. That sounds fun. Let's check that shit out. So previous to Test of Faith, you could send allies back to the well. Has the same delay. And Holy Persuasion max units has increased to 4 at level 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 at each level, which is really good. Chen, if we look into Dota, was 1% pick ban last patch. So really in need of a little bit of help. So let's go into the game and see what that looks like now. And yeah, sorry if this isn't as in-depth in terms of like actual balance or competitive impact. I'm a decent analyst, but not on the same level as some people. Just more trying to show what the changes are and what they do, and explain how they work. Okay, that's no bueno. They're already doing a new test client update. it looks like I'm having issues connecting. Okay. Looks like this is not going to help. It's not going to work. Server's dead. Alright. Let's just try to create another lobby and see if I can get him. I'm gonna give this one more try. Aha, here we go. Alright. Chinarino.
So begins the persecution. Blessed increase. The better to increase.
Prepare for battle.
Alright. So basically, we already saw the changes earlier to where he can now, a big change to the ancient granite golem, where he can now enchant that with an Aghanim scepter, and or enchant, convert, I guess it's the same thing. And it gives a HP buff to allies, including your fellow heroes and other creeps you have, which is really strong. Now we're going to show how casting Test of Faith on yourself
May it please you.
will teleport everybody. So we're going to leave him here, let him attack.
Hallowed ground.
Leave that guy here, let him attack. Leave Ghosty here, let her attack.
As you say.
And get Big Centaur here. So now I can go all the way over here. Cast Test of Faith on myself. After a quick delay, party! All my buddies are here. So fun stuff. That's actually not bad. It's pretty. I don't know how often. I guess it just means you can like
So I go.
do like little like micro if that makes sense. Like with four creeps now, you can maybe leave some to farm and you roam into other levels and then teleport them to you to gank or to deal with a fight maybe. I'm not a Chin player, so I can't really think of the competitive benefits to it. But the 4 creeps is really strong, and being able to teleport them to you
Leap of
is
faith.
also very situationally strong. I'd like to hear what people like Puppy or other
A pious path.
famous Chin players have to think about the change. You can also block yourself in like this, which is fun.
Obelisk, guide me.
They seem to, I'm trying to think if there's any like method to the madness here with how they
As
get teleported
Obelisk
to you.
directs.
They seem to just kind of surround you almost perfectly.
As you say.
So, fun stuff, fun stuff. More changes as I get out of here. Clink's base attack range is increased to 630. Wow, what a buff actually. There's not many heroes. As I'm pulling up all these random stat sites. This is a really good stat site, by the way, herostats.io. So if you look here and we add, I think there's attack range, right? Or am I missing it? I'm pretty sure that, oh yeah, it's already here. There's only 3 heroes in the game, or 2 heroes in the game with higher attack range than 630 now then. Techie's at 700, Lena at 670. Drow and Oracle have 625 and 620 respectively, but now Clink's with the buff is up to 630. That's good. The heroes, okay. We saw him picked a little bit in 6.82. Let's look at them. 4.7% pick ban, not 52 picks, not as many as I thought even. But this is pretty good, especially when you we saw people get stuff like a blink dagger on Clinks because it was really important that if you skeleton walked in, orchided someone, popped strafe, you really want to stay still as much as possible so you can just pound them with arrows. And the blink meant you could blink to their location after they started running away from a bit and keep getting attacks off. And this extra 30 attack range should mean a couple extra attacks when the enemy's running away, without having to move to get the maximum damage out of strafe, which is pretty good. Clockwork battery assault damage has been increased by 5 at each level. It looks like, yeah, okay, that's good. Clockwork. If we look at how much clock was picked, 10% pick ban, a lot lower than what we used to see out of clock, especially in like patch 6.81. Saw a little bit more of clock. 6.80, we saw a lot of clock if I remember correctly. Yeah, 45.1% pick ban. So a little bit of a buff to clock, well needed. Battery assault already does an insane amount of damage, and you have to remember about battery assault that is happening really, really often. Let's actually look and see how much max damage that is now. Because it used to be the max damage was 1200 at max level, and now if it's 80 with, let's see, points. I'm trying to think of, no, that's not right. I don't know how my math is supposed to work here. I'm bad at math apparently. Ah, there you go. Well, I'm so stupid. There are 15 battery assault pops, basically. So that means that at 80 damage, you're now doing, I guess they already fixed that. Oh no, discharges a total of 16 shrapnel. It even said that there while I was up pulling up the calculator. I'm an idiot. So 16 at 80 means you're doing 1280 damage instead of 1200. So it's a little bit more damage overall. It's not that much of an increase, but it is a bit. It is a bit. Crystal Maiden, Crystal Nova attack speed slow has been increased from 20 to 30. It's a little, The Frostbite cooldown has been reduced. That's actually really good for jungling. Freezing field duration increased from 7 to 10 seconds. That might seem like a big buff, but it's not often that Crystal Maiden gets a full duration freezing field off for max damage. Like there's stuff like, you remember like Fluff's freezing field for Team Liquid and TI3 against LGD in the Rush Pit. That was pretty big. I think it was against LGD. It might have been against somebody else. That was a field duration freezing field, but he had already killed everyone by 7 seconds basically. So I feel like that's not actually that big of a buff. Freezing field explosion spawn radius and slow radius is increased by 150. It's pretty good. And the freezing field explosion damage radius increased by 50. That's actually huge, I think. Because if we look at Crystal Maiden and how freezing field works in terms of the amount of damage it puts out, it's actually insane. If you took every single explosion at level 1, it would do 7,350 damage. Because there's a lot of explosions. There is a total of 70 explosions. Because it's 0.1 seconds. And it went from the explosion spawn radius to being 195 to 635 to being a little bit bigger, and the explosion damage radius is increased from 250 to 30. And this is a radius now, so the area is actually, it's more of a change than just, like, let's see, it's more than like a 17% change. It's like more like 30 or 35% increase in area because of how radiuses work. So really strong. I think that's actually a huge buff to her ult, but her ult is not that great because it requires her to stay still, and it's channeled, it's easy to interrupt, and you can just kind of run out of it. But sometimes, if you get it just right, you can blink into the right area, it can be really strong, and this is a good buff to it. And Crystal Maiden needed the buff. As you can see here, 5% pick ban. Not getting picked a lot. Darkseer buffs. Base armor increased by 1, makes it more tanky, really annoying for creep cutting for you pubbers. And the vacuum pull duration has been increased from 0.4 to 0.5. So I guess, I don't really actually understand how that works. I understand pull duration. Well, I guess it means that if you're on the outside, you'll just get pulled all the way in. I don't know. I'm not actually totally familiar with the mechanics of that. Dazzle got a 50 damage attack range buff. I already think Dazzle was kind of strong. We saw teams like Team Secret. Puppy was picking him all the time. A lot of Dazzle picks out of him. And so, he's already got one of the better base damages in the game for support. If we look at average damage, Dazzle is not quite as good as Witch Doctor at 56, but he's up here for the supports, I thought. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, he's up here at 50. So pretty good. for base damage for support. Pretty strong. And he gets really good int gain, so he gains a lot of attack in lane. So he's already one of the better zoning supports in the game, and with 50 more base damage, he's going to be even better at zoning. Or 50 more base attack range will be even better at zoning. Death Prophet got a strength growth reduction. Pretty big one. 1.9. So she'll be a lot less tanky in the late game. Man, none of these are... Usually these changes are cool, and I get to show them in stream and test class. That's why this is fun. But these are more like number changes. Oh well. We'll get an occasional one that's fun. I'm showing some of these, the I guess, context to how good the hero was in the patch and explaining that. Glimpse mana cost has been reduced for Disruptor. That's actually huge. 160 was a massive cost early. And even though it's still more, like 70 at the last level was pretty insane. Disruptor has really weird mana costs, by the way. It's like almost all of them like decrease as you level them up. It's really strange. Anyway, even though it's more mana at level 4, it just helps him out a lot early. And it's a support, right? Supports need to be good early in the game. Glimpse cooldown has been reduced as well to go alongside that. Kinetic Field cooldown has been reduced, and Static Storm cooldown has been reduced as well. So that's actually really strong. Disruptor's really good now, I think. His Q is already really strong at zoning. It's one of the bigger damage dealers at level 1 for a spell in the game. So he's good at zoning, and these mana cost reductions and cooldown reductions on all of his abilities might mean that he sees a bit more play. And we can see here he was picked in 15% pick ban, so a little more than some of the other heroes we saw, but pretty marginal increases. Dragon Knight Elder Dragon Form level 3 now contains Corrosive Breath from levels 1 and 2, meaning Corrosive Breath is the dot damage from the dot from his auto attacks that affected towers. So that means I was actually playing. I played support Dragon Knight at the Red Bull LAN a couple of days ago. If any of you watched that, and I would just pop his ult to push towers basically. And when I got to level 16, I was like, do I even really want to level this up, because I'm not doing any damage, and I want to continue just like sieging towers. I might want to keep the Corrosive Breath. But now that is not a decision you have to make. It's there at every level now. And that reflects a change that happened a couple of months ago, where it used to be Corrosive Breath was only level 1 and not level 2. And so most people just wouldn't level up Dragon Form to level 2 into level 15. So you could level up to level 3 at level 16. Because level 2 was not good. The splash damage was inferior to being able to do damage to the tower. Drow Ranger's illusions now benefit from marksmanship. Oh, that's actually disgusting. But they'll still lose damage if an enemy is nearby. Okay, well that's okay, but that's actually kind of disgusting. Earth Spirit nerfs, it looks like, no longer reduces attack speed by 80 for 2 seconds. 80 attack speed reduction is actually ridiculous. And it no longer does 45 extra damage when used with Stone Remnant. And its base damage has been increased by 10. So, Earth Spirit nerfs, much needed. Hero's broken. Even though pubs aren't really good at him, he's still really broken, and he's gonna... I think he might be okay for Captain's Mode now. These are some weird changes. I think what makes him strong is his ability to just like push and pull everyone. But we'll see. Enchant Totem mana cost has been reduced. It just means you have a 20 mana stun early, which is not bad. Astral Spirit damage has been reduced by 10, 20, and 30 at levels 2, 3, and 4. And it fixed a few cases where Elder Titan could move his Astral Spirit when casting Echo Stomp. I'll show you what that means. If I can find it here. Owie Stoimpo. Gosh, dude. See if I can find a GIF over here. No. Aha, here we go. Here's the GIF of it. So basically what it used to be is if you casted Stomp right as the hero was about to come back to you, it would end up not breaking the channel, and it would happen halfway on the way back, as you can see here. Dink. And so that's been removed. So you can no longer do that, basically. If that's Yeah, that's exactly what that means. Sproink, Enchantress base movement speed increased by 20. That's huge. Base movement speed buffs are actually some of the bigger buffs in the game, in my opinion. We can see like small movement speed increases making a hero become super viable when they previously weren't. Skywrath Mage, a 5 move speed increase was kind of the catalyst to him being strong. I think he was strong before, but that extra 5 move speed from 320 to 325 made the hero just explode. That's a lot. 20 move speed is ridiculous. 335, if we can go back to this thing, is one of the faster MSs in the game. Actually makes her the fastest hero in the game now, actually. 335 makes her faster than Luna. So, congratulations, gods. Enchantress is now the fastest hero in the game. Congrats. Time Walk no longer slows attack speed like it used to. The cooldown on Chronosphere has been increased. And ward unit types are no longer to attack while inside the Chronosphere. Wow, okay, so that means... Let's actually show that. If I am correct, that means that Rasta wards and Witch Doctor ulti no longer work in Chronosphere. Let's see if that's the case. So I will play Witch Doctor. And I want to create hero Faceless Void. Let's do this really fast. Level up 25. Let's put a point in it. Create hero Faceless.
A path foreseen.
I think that's right now. What is it? Level bots. Full. Where is he?
Time slows.
Why did you get made over there, dude? All right. There we go. Much better.
March of time.
30 seconds to battle.
All right. So let's test this out.
Inexorable.
We're gonna. Let's see. We need to create an enemy, don't we? Okay. Create hero anti enemy.
The
All right.
battle begins.
So previously, you could throw up a Chronosphere, throw a Witch Doctor Death Orb into it, and it would do damage. Oh no! Okay, I gotta do it now. Now, as you can see here, nothing happens. No damage is done while in the Chronosphere. I'm pretty sure that's gonna apply to Rasta as well, because those are Rasta wards or wards. Okay. Right, hero Shadow. That works. Okay.
As the shades direct.
Level bots 25. And we'll try that out. Create hero anti-enemy. Chrono. Wards don't do anything until after the chrono ends. So big nerf to Faceless Void, especially with combos like Witch Doctor. We didn't see a whole lot of Rasta with him, so that's not that big of a change, but it just kind of makes it to where the wards, just anything that's ward based won't attack. Are there any other wards that do damage in the game? I'm trying to think of off the top of my head if there are any. Not that I can think of. I might be just drawing a blank, but I don't think there are any other wards that do damage like that. Alright. Going back to the patch, Gyrocopter cooldown area of effect has been increased by 150, so that's actually huge. Like we always talk about, area of effect is 600, so the area has increased, not the radius. So it's just it's a smaller increase than a full radius increase, but that's still pretty big. Cooldown missile 1 slow has been reduced, but missile 2 slow has increased. So what that means, if we look back at the abilities, it used to be that the first ability had a less of a slow but more damage, and the second missile had less of a slow but more damage. Okay, yeah. No, missile 1 slow had more slow, more damage. Missile 2 had less damage, less slow. And now, with the change, missile 1 has less of a slow, more damage. Missile 2 has more of a slow, less damage. So you're always going to take a lot of damage for the first missile, but you're not going to be slowed as much as if you stick around to get slowed by the second missile. And now Force Staff can be used on homing missile. Okay, we're going to have to look at this. We're going to have to watch this. We're going to have to look at this in game. I've got to... Sounds clowny as hell. Am I going to have to buy for... I've already been doing the Wagamama Yules build on Gyrocopter. Well, you'll Yules an enemy and then put down a rocket and then get in close, and as soon as the rocket hits them, you're there with a rocket barrage. But now with the Force Staff, that seems even clownier. I gotta get my full LD set. There we go. West Virginia.
Prepare for battle.
Can you test if you can kick homing missile with Earth Spirit? Yeah, I'll check that. I'll check that. We'll see if it works. I don't know if it will, but. Alright, so now, let's get this guy like over here. We're gonna cast homing missile. Oh god, don't get hidden. Okay. And go Tom. That's so clowny. That's such a ridiculous change, but I love it. Alright. Oh no. I always say refresh. I'm assuming... I want to... Oh gosh, I don't know if an enemy can force it. You're still going to force it the way it's facing, right? So there's literally no benefit to forcing it to you unless you want it to... Like, go ahead and stun you and do you damage now so you can get out. But it should always force it forward. There's no reason why it force it back because it's always where you're facing, right? So we can try the Earth Spirit. Oh, well, apparently Earth does Earth Shaker.
The path is clear.
I'm really bad at typing, apparently. Earth_Spirit. Okay. Level. I actually have never played Earth Spirit, so I don't know what the kick is. Actually, I'm so bad. Oh, back. So the kick is... Yeah. Boulder Smash. I'm pretty sure I've actually never played Earth Spirit. So bad. So bad at Dota. Oh god, no. Anti-mage, don't die. Okay.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Let's these guys don't get in my way. Oh, okay. That didn't work.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
This is a bit of a clusterfuck. Alright, let's try this now. No, it doesn't seem to be targetable. Try it one more time. Yeah. He can kind of target it, but he doesn't really do anything. Sorry. Sorry, Coddle. I know you're sad. Alright, let's get a little bit of a music change here. Get that Sufjan Christmas album going. Alright. So that's the change for Gyrocopter's homing missile. It's a pretty clowny one. I guess Yule Scepter Force Staff is my new build on Gyrocopter. We'll see. Inner Vitality base health regen has went from 2, 4, 6, 8 to 10 at all levels, which is really good. And his regen bonus when hurt, oh gosh, form, type in like me, 30, 45, 60, 75 to 20, 40, 68. So it's worse at levels 1 and 2, the same at level 3, and better at level 4. No longer requires turning to perform any actions. That's interesting. All right, let's show what this looks like, because this might be a little bit confusing for some people. It basically means that no matter like which way Io is facing, he's always able to do whatever he wants.
All pick. Prepare for battle.
So, previously, despite being a ball of plasma, I just put half a neutral, didn't I? Despite being just a ball of plasma, he still had to he still had like a face, like a direction to face. Spawn neutrals is the one. Oh my god, okay, I'm gonna have to double check. Spawn neutrals. I guess I just didn't type it right. Ah, did I not put spawn neutrals?
30 seconds to battle.
Did I not put cheats on for this one or something? Okay. Oh, I thought it spawn neutrals worked even when you're in the spawn box. I guess I was wrong. So basically, no matter if you're facing forward now, you can face this way, and you don't have to turn to attack. It just happens. He still kind of has that little like forward-facing arrow,
The battle begins.
but it doesn't actually matter for him. It also means that if you're going to tether an ally, yeah, sorry, I didn't think that being in the spawn box actually mattered for this neutral spawn command. It now means that if you want to tether, you can do it without looking at them, which makes for good, like, really quick jump outs. Because a lot of times you want to use it as an escape. You know, if the anti-mage is over here and you want to tether to him to kind of get away, it's a little bit faster than it used to be, which is good. Come on, window capture. What's the holdup? There we go. Alright. Jakiro's liquid fire damage has been reduced by 3 at level 1, by 4 at level 2, by 5 at level 3, and by 6 at level 4. Jakiro was picked a lot, especially for his ability for liquid fire to do damage to towers, so I think this nerf is very much needed. If we look, he's picked 45% of games, which is pretty high. If we look at that among all heroes, he was up here, pretty high. So a needed nerf, I believe. Base agility increased from 20 to 26. That's a lot of base agility. That ties him with Drow Ranger for 4th most at level 1. Really good. That means his armor, his base armor, is also a little bit higher. Not much higher, but a little bit higher. And the Blade Dance, oh man, he already had the best crit in the game. And now it scales 20, 25, 30, 35, meaning it's better at early levels, but the same at max level. It was already one of the better crits in the game for the percentage chance and the amount of damage it does, which I think it's just 2x, but 35% is really, really good. Coddle, Chakra Magic mana cost has been decreased at higher levels. It just scales by 10 at each level instead of 20 at each level. It's pretty good. And the Blinding Light duration is increased by 1 at each level. So, okay. I don't think it's enough to fix Coddle's problems. he was picked in 2.3% of games. So don't think it's enough to fix his issues, but maybe. Maybe, just maybe. So Xbox the spot enemy delay has increased from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 4 at all levels. Which is interesting because a lot of people used to keep Xbox spot at either level 2 or level 3, so you could easily combo it with either Torrent for 2 or Boat at 3 seconds. And now you can't actually do that anymore. So even though this means that the delay is a little bit better at level 1 and 2 and 3 for catching people out, it might hurt some more inexperienced Kunkka players with the kind of like handicap you would with keeping level 2 or 3 in Boat. So that's interesting, but it's still a buff. And the allied delay is 8 at all levels as well. You can X marks yourself and go back to like run forward and try to do the battle for your crit thing, or just the crit thing. The X marks. Let me make sure. Okay. X marks the spot cast range has been decreased at early levels, but increased at max levels by just a little bit. This looks like a nerf overall to me, because it only gets larger at the max level, and it's by 50. So that's kind of weird. And the cooldown has actually been increased at MS levels. But the mana cost is now 0 for the return. It used to be that if you tried to end the X marks the spot early, it cost you 50 mana. And now it costs no mana. So that's a good change. I really don't know I'm not a Kunkka player, so I don't really know what the effect this has. I think for some players it might be a bit of a nerf for like pub players, but for better players they should probably get more out of it. What was the thing that we wanted to, sorry. Check it with Batrider stacks. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's, if it means you have no turn rate anymore, it doesn't matter, so it shouldn't affect your IO at all. I mean, we can test it, but if you don't have to face in a certain direction to be affected, then that means that turn rate reductions like Batrider Sticky Napalm shouldn't do anything. Actually, it's actually really hard to test that because, I mean, I would have to level up an ability and control it. It's hard to control ally enemy abilities. But I am certain that it shouldn't slow your turn rate at all, because your turn rate no longer matters for IO. It would mean that like the actual arrow on your hero would take longer, but it wouldn't actually mean anything. For Leshrac, Diabolic Edict duration is increased from 8 to 10. The slow on Lightning Storm is increased to 0.75 seconds, and its cast range is increased to 800. Maybe finally we'll start seeing some Leshrac. I think that Lightning Storm slow that got added a while back is really, really, really good, especially with like a value point, because it's the same amount of slow at every level. Maybe we'll start seeing more Leshrac. I like Leshrac a lot. Chain Frost cooldown reduced on Lich at level 1 and 2 is pretty good. Life Stealer Infest now allows you to control the unit you're in using a sub ability. Control allows you to take control of the unit you are infesting, including their abilities. If you take control of the unit, it will remain its cover. However, it will become attackable by your enemy. Controlled units share Life Stealer's movement speed and cannot be used on heroes, meaning you can't infest an ally and use their abilities. So let's look at that. That's a cool one we can check out. We Parasite now. I will test it with Spirit Bear and Hawk. I'll look at it with normal creeps first. First I gotta choose my items, dude. I like the Battle Wings a lot. There we go. Alright.
Prepare for battle.
Lives to steal. Lives for the taking.
So we're gonna spawn neutrals. We're gonna hop into one of these bad boys.
You want
like this. The Satyr Hadouken, you see here, there's a sub-ability now, Control. Poop. He becomes attackable by other neutral creeps. But you have abilities like Shockwave, and you have the Unholy Aura. So pretty cool. Took a little bit from Han there with the Parasite thing. Yeah, pretty cool. We want to see how it works with Beastmaster's Hawk and Lone Druid Spirit Bear. We can check that out. Let's actually create Lone Druid too.
The battle begins.
Okay, there's a bear. There's a hawk, there's a boar. Alright. Let's try to infest the bear. We take control. And it looks like... Let's see, am I controlling Lifestealer now? It doesn't look like anything happens right now. When I try to use control, nothing happens. Can't act. So it looks like it doesn't work. You can deny the bear by uninfesting, but it looks like it doesn't really do anything. If I try to control the hawk, that works. There's not really... I mean, I guess you can go invisible if you stand still. If it was level 4, you'd go invisible, which is cool. Sneaky bird bombs. It's weird how it's a different hotkey for each. And for the boar, you can attack and you gain the slow shit. Fun stuff. Oh yeah, I guess the bear isn't leveled. That's a good point. Okay, yep. We can use things like return, which returns you to where the Lifestealer's at instead of where the Lone Druid's at. That's fun. And I'm sure you get stuff like Entangling Claws, etc. But yeah, you can control it
Your bottom tower
and do the dance. Fun stuff. Let's see. Other questions? Try enemy chin creeps. Let's do that. Okay. See, that's the thing with enemies. It doesn't really, you can't really like do their abilities the way this is done. Unfortunately, I think. No, okay, you just gotta get vision of them. That's right. All right, so let's. So you've got an enemy chin has converted this Satyr Tormentor. I infest. It looks as if I cannot take control. Ability is inactive. So it looks like I'm stuck, having to use.
In your name.
Yeah, looks like control is not possible on enemy chin creeps. I'm sure you can do it on allied necro units. I can test it, but I'm sure that works. But enemy necro units probably not, for the same reason that this that I can't do it here. Whoa, no. Well, I guess I'm controlling chin now instead of. Yeah, you still can't take control. Can't act until I explode out of it. Oh, try if you can use bear out of attack range of tower. That's. Alright, we'll try that. That's actually pretty interesting. Now it's telling me I can't use the ability. Maybe it's buggy because now I can't use control. It's telling me I can't act. That's weird. It was working previously.
Your middle tower is
No, it's not letting anything move.
Your middle tower is
Maybe it's
under
buggy?
attack.
Don't really know for sure. Let's try this one more time. Yeah, no, it's not letting me.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, let's remake that lobby. We'll give it a shot. I think that's cool enough and important enough because you could get a life stealer and manually backdoor tower out of attack range with a lone druid. That would actually be maybe broken, maybe. So we'll check it out. Oh, I think it's really buggy right now. You can infest the Beastmaster bird. That's awesome. The Fog of War changes actually just means it's like more smooth revealing of Fog of War. Instead of it just hopping to different intervals, it's just, it can be any value. So it just should be more smoothing of vision. I mean, it's already pretty smooth even with the intervals. I don't think it's that big of a change.
All pick.
Alright.
This pleases the master.
Prepare for battle.
You can't make me.
Okay. For some reason that works. I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if it's supposed to work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to test the auto attack out of range of the owner. Because normally there's this whole leash. But now we'll see if it doesn't work.
Seconds to battle.
And what do you know? You can attack out of the leash. I don't know if that is meant to be how it works. As previously we saw, it just wasn't working previously when I tried to reinfest. So this might be intended, it might not be. Let's try that. Actually, and I got gold for killing the bear. I don't think that's supposed to be. I don't think that's supposed to work like that either. So it seems pretty buggy right now. Previously, you couldn't infest Lone Druid bear. I remember it, at least in Dota 1, because it was considered an ancient unit, and you couldn't infest ancients. Let's see if I try to infest it again. It doesn't let me control it. So, might be just a bug. We'll see if what Valve decides to do there. But currently, as you level bear up, like the first time, you can get inside of it and attack out of the leash range. So that's pretty interesting. Alright, Lina. Attack projectile speed is increased. That means her little missile goes faster. Dragon Slave, nuke damage increased. Mana cost increased alongside it. Damage has been rescaled to do more damage at earlier levels, less damage at upper levels. Mana cost for that stun has been slightly increased to make up for that fact. And the stun duration has been increased by 0.1 at level 2, 0.2 at level 3, and 0.3 at level 4. And Fiery Soul duration is increased by 10. So some pretty good buffs for Lina. She was barely picked at all, 2.5% pick ban last patch, so very much needed. Lion attack base attack damage is increased by 7, makes him a lot better of a zoner. If you look at hero stats, average damage, I think Lion was one of the worst ones. Yeah, 45 base damage, not very good. That's now 52, which puts him firmly in the realm of heroes more like Shadow Demon, Enchantress, a little bit better than Warlock. Around there. The mana drain interval has now been increased by 0.25 to 0.1. It still kills illusions on the first tick. So It took 0.25 seconds from when you first started casting Mana Drain before it actually did anything. Now it's 0.1 seconds, if I've got that correctly. The cast time on Spirit Bear's return is gone. It just happens immediately. Battle Cry cooldown has been increased, but the Battle Cry duration has been increased by 2 seconds. The bonus damage has been increased by 30, 25, 40. Is that right? No, 30, 35, 40. Math. And the Battle Cry bonus armor has been increased as well. So, some small buffs to Lone Druid. We have not seen very much Lone Druid at all. 2.4% ban. So, much needed buffs. Bulldog will be happy. Moonglaive level 4 bounces increased from 5 to 6. You know, get 6 bounces. And the beam count has been increased by 1 at each level, which is pretty good for her early game potential. Divided We Stand and respawn time reduction now scales. It's 10% at level 1, 20% at level 2, 30% at level 3. That's really, really, really good considering, well, actually, it's good for late game Epo. I mean, you reach your level 3 ult faster than just about any other hero reaches level 3 of his ult. So that's still pretty good. Adaptive Strike stun max duration has been increased by a pretty significant amount. Look at that. 0.5 at level 1, 0.75 at level 2, an entire second at level 3, and 1.25 seconds at level 4. So that's a long stun, but that's max stun duration, which is when you have more strength than agility. See, and you don't see a whole lot of more strength than agility with Adaptive Strikes. Maybe now you can run more support Morphling. Hey! Oh, I'm getting confused about scaling. What is this? It doesn't scale now. It used to scale. It's flat 20 now. Oh, I'm misreading. Oh, it's now 20% instead of 10, 20, 30. Well, I'm being stupid. It usually goes from. It's usually how these patches read. From one thing to the other, not instead of. Oh well. Fuck that up. Anyway, so now it's flat 20% instead of 10, 20, 30. Adaptive Strike is better now, so support Morphling, here we go. Base attack damage increased by 4 for Night Stalker. Crippling Fear mana cost reduced from 90 to 50. Darkness now sets all enemy vision to a maximum of 675 instead of reducing it by 25. Sports buildings, etc. Darkness no longer pauses the day-night timer. Interesting. That's actually really, really, really good because that means it just reduces the daytime by 50 seconds instead of increasing the nighttime but still having the same duration of day. Now you're actually subtracting from the amount of daytime. And the cooldown has actually reduced. So that's actually really good for Night Stalker. We might actually start seeing a little bit of him now. .4% big man. So good to see him now. I'm so happy about how excited chat gets when I misread something. The Fire Blast damage has been reduced on Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi, a very, very popular support, as we saw here, 6th most picked hero in Dota. So we've got a reduction on his abilities. 5, 10, 15, 20 damage reduction. And the cast range on Fire Blast has been reduced by 125. Wow, that's pretty big. Even though Ogre Magi is a melee character, he likes to get up and close, and he's got a lot of EHP to be able to do that. That's still pretty big for chasing, etc. The Intelligent Steel for Astral Imprisonment has been increased by 1 at level 2, 2 at level 3, 3 at level 4. And the Intelligent Steel duration has been reduced to only 50 seconds to make up for that fact. But that's still pretty strong. It's a lot more. And usually you put a lot of points into Astral, so this is good. The Coup de Grace critical strike damage has been reduced at levels 1 and 2. That's interesting. I mean, we saw a fair amount of PA, but not that much PA. Like 20% big ban is not that crazy. So it's interesting to see her get a nerf, but apparently some people thought she was too strong. Maybe that's a small pub nerf, actually. Let's look at Dota buff. Let's look at the pub stats instead of the competitive stats. I don't think she was that popular. I mean, that's not that successful, 51%, so. Maybe the pros just didn't like getting crit lorded. Phoenix buffs, actually. Required supernova attacks to destroy the egg is 5, 8, 11 now. So increases by 1 at levels 2 and 3 for the egg to die. And fix the Icarus dive ability sometimes being interrupted by auto attacks. So there's an issue that even Pilot Eye brought up at the summit, that when you do Icarus dive, sometimes it doesn't stop. I think I agree she's kind of ridiculous in pubs, but I mean, her win rate still isn't that crazy even in pubs. It's like 51%. There's a lot of heroes that are stronger than her in pubs. Omni Knight, Necrophos, Abaddon, Zeus, all these heroes are way stronger than PA even in pubs. I agree that it's annoying. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people playing her. So 51% with that many people playing her. You see how the win rate goes down when people play a hero a lot? So she's the most played hero this patch by a lot. By nearly 5 million games. So maybe the fact that she's getting played so much and still has a good win rate is something that Ice Frog looked at and said, well, maybe need to nerf her just a little bit. Anyway, made Icarus dive actually not being interrupted sometimes by auto attacks, which is weird. Pilot Eye was kind of complaining about how that happens. Pudge, the meat hook range has been increased. Look at these Pudge buffs. 1,000 increased range at level 1. And then it scales by 100 instead of by 200 at each level. So 1,000 range is pretty significant. Let's look at that actually, because you get a good idea of how much more that is at level 1.
All pick.
Pudka.
She's here.
Oh no, that's not what I want. I want level 1.
Prepare for battle.
Now I can just do this. Create. Pudka. Yeah, I just want to give myself levels. Okay. So that is the new range on Hook. Pretty significant compared to how much it used to be. You can go all the way to here. So compared to how it used to be 700, which is about yay far, it's not much farther. So really good early game Pudge. Yeah.
30 seconds to battle.
Pretty good. Pubs will be happy. I don't think that's much. I mean, Pudge is still pretty bad and competitive. I don't think that changes that fact. But it's nice to see him get a small buff. Pugna, decrepify movement speed on allies has been reduced from 50 to 25%. So basically, when you decrepify an ally, they're not as slowed as they used to be, which is good when you're trying to save them. Nether ward attacks required to destroy is increased from 3 to 4, which is really good. And Blade Mail no longer reflects Nether ward damage onto Pugna, which is very good because it used to be a combo to where you would get Pugna and put down a Nether ward to deal with Skywrath Mage, like blowing his ult. It would do a lot of damage to him. But then, if you're a Skywrath, you could actually get a Blade Mail and purposefully use Blade Mail as you were using the ult and deal that damage to Pugna instead, as well as yourself, but Pugna would take it as well. And it would do a lot of damage to Pugna, and now that cannot happen. Fun stuff. Queen of Pains, blink range has been increased to 1,300 at all levels. The blink cooldown has been increased to make up for that fact. Sonic Wave now deals pure damage and affects spell immune targets, but the damage has been reduced to make up for that fact. Let's see if that is just flat. So it actually does more damage now than it did previously, even with the reduction of damage, because with the 25% reduction that all heroes have for magic damage, that meant that Sonic Wave usually at level 1 dealt 262 damage. Now it deals 290 pure. So even though damage is reduced, because it's pure, it still does more damage because of it ignores the base magic resistance that every hero has. Except for Visage, which is at 10, 15% at level 1 because of the Gravekeeper's Cloak. I can't remember. Yeah, 1300 is ridiculous. Actually, I want to look and just show how
Your
insane
bottom tower is under attack.
that is. Let's look at it in game. Can we show? Oh, I guess it doesn't show the range. 1300 means you can blink that far. It's pretty insane. It's like 3/4 of your screen at level 1. Really good. Ricky, Blink Strike max charges is increased to 456 from 345. It's really good. Blink Strike charge restore time has been increased. That means it takes more time to build up charges after you've used them to make up for the fact that the charges have been increased. And bonus damage has been decreased on each. So, decreased at level 1, but increased at level 3, if I'm reading that correctly. Change Blink Strike bonus damage from 50, 40, okay, so yeah. So it does less damage at level 1 of Blink Strike, more damage at level 3 of Blink Strike. Pretty good. Rubik's Fade Bolt mana cost from 150 to scale, so having Fade Bolt early makes you a lot better nuker early in the game. And Scepter Spell Steal cooldown reduced from 5 to 2 seconds. So you can get those combos really easily. 2 seconds per spell steal is ridiculously strong. I mean, you still have to farm up an Aghanim Scepter, and you still have to like be really fast with your spell steals, but 2 seconds is crazy good. I don't know if that's enough to bring him back into competitive play, especially as a support because you still have to farm up the Scepter. But maybe, who knows? Shadow Ray's damage has been increased, which is really good. Shadow Fiend is already one of the faster farming heroes in the game because of Shadow Rays. If we look at average GPM per hero, let's see if I can. How's average GPM per hero? Right. Shadow Fiend is up there, 4th highest, and it's not because he has any crazy. He's ranged, which means he can't use a Battle Fury. He has no innate cleave, and he doesn't really have an orb that splits his shot like a Medusa does. So it's just like how strong Shadow Rays is at clearing stacks. That means that his GPM is so high, and he can kill creeps really fast with his passive. But he's like one of the fastest farming heroes in the game at like 15-20 minutes. And so this buff to Shadow Rays means that not only can he kill more, but he can actually farm even faster these neutral camps. So that's really good for him. Silencer Glaives of Wisdom, Intelligence, into damage has been increased ever so slightly. Same at level 1, 2 higher at level 2, 4 higher at level 3, and 6 higher at level 4. So pretty good. A little bit of a buff to the damage from Glaives. Last Word cooldown has been decreased at early levels, but then it's still the same. And Scepter Global Silence no longer increases the duration by 1 second. That's interesting. So the Scepter actually got worse on the hero. Interesting. Skywrath Mage's base agility got reduced, which is basically an armor nerf. You can't attack as fast, but I mean, his auto attacks aren't that potent anyway. It's more about the effect that he had a little bit of armor, and that base agility will reduce his armor by a bit. Slardar sprint duration has been reduced to 16 seconds. The cooldown has been reduced, however, and amplified damage cooldown has been reduced to 5 seconds, so you can be spamming amplified damage every 5 seconds. That's really good. So you can sprint for less time, but you can keep it up. Let's say it's a 5-second reduction in cooldown, a 4-second reduction in. So it's overall a small buff. Sark's pounce damage has been reduced. Sark has actually been really strong lately. I think he was probably he wasn't crazy picked. 41% is pretty good, but not insane. He's up here with some of the most picked heroes, like pretty firmly in tier 1. So I can see a deserved small nerf. Sniper Shrapnel no longer does damage to buildings. Oh no. Shrapnel has 3 charges though with a 40-second replenish time. Look at all these charges changes. These are weird. After Ricky got that charge change, apparently we like the charges. Shrapnel mana cost has been reduced to 50 and shrapnel duration has increased to 10. So we can see how that looks. I don't like that it doesn't do damage to buildings anymore. I mean, it was pretty. I mean, it was kind of negligible, but and many of them a pretty strong pusher. Oh god, look at all these. I didn't realize Sniper even had this many. Jesus, look at this. It's like a weapon from Wildstar or some bullshit. All right. So let's level up shrapnel. As you can see here, there's 3 shrapnel charges. You can go bink,
Prepare for
bink,
battle.
bink. Now you're out of charges. But you're covering this whole area with shrapnel. I'm sure the movement speed slow doesn't stack, but the damage probably does. Oh, I'm sure the damage does. But I doubt the movement speed. I don't know, it shouldn't. The movement speed slow shouldn't stack, I don't think. I'm trying to think about that in my head. There's no way it should. But the damage obviously will, so that's good. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I don't even know if the damage would stack. We'll have to wait until see how that if that works or not. Yeah, the damage probably doesn't stack. That would be kind of silly. But it's really good for just shrapnel, 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 clear wave, cover an area that's big, etc. All right. Spirit Breaker, Empowering Haste. Cooldown. This is the active on Empowering Haste that was added in the last patch, which gave everybody in an AoE bonus movement speed. That has been reduced to 16 seconds. Storm Spirit's turn rate has been improved from 0.6 to 0.8, which means the Spirit Man just turns around faster. He needed a small buff. This isn't much of one, but if we look at how often he was picked, it was not that often. 13.7%. He's a little bit underpicked, so just gave him a small, tiny nerf. Or small, tiny buff, excuse me. Sven's Warcry duration has been increased from 7 to 8 seconds. And Scepter God Strength ally bonus damage has been increased even more. So 100% bonus damage at level 3 of Aghanim's God Strength. If you're not familiar with what ally God Strength is, in the last patch, I think it was last patch, I'm pretty sure it was 8.82. Sven got an Aghanim Scepter upgrade, which means that if he gets Ags, pops God Strength, enemy or allies in an AoE get the God Strength bonus. As this. Techies added to Captain's mode. Oh yeah. And landmine damage has been increased to make him more viable. I still think the hero will maybe not get picked. Maybe in some really clowny like push strats, but reflection cast point has been reduced. And Sunder minimum HP is now 20% at all levels. Okay. Alright, sounds good. Tidehunter's base movement speed has been reduced. We saw a lot of Tide this patch. 69.6% pick ban. 5th most popular hero. He needed a bit of a buff. Movement speed is a really good way to nerf a hero. I think I said buff again. I keep saying nerf and buff interchangeably. But this is a really needed buff to Tidehunter. And Ravage damage has been decreased at levels 2 and 3. So I think that's needed. Tinker's heat-seeking missile has been increased. Tinker just disappeared, man. Absolutely disappeared after they got rid of Marching Machines not doing damage to Ancients. Gone. 3.63% pick ban. One of the least picked heroes in Dota. I don't think this is enough to bring him back, but it will make him slightly more viable. Tiny's toss duration, I guess that's the amount of time you spend in the air, has been increased. I guess that's a good thing. And Grow move speed bonus has been rescaled to be the same at max level, but stronger at the earlier levels. So you just move faster earlier, which is good. Treant's Eyes in the Forest Overgrowth damage has been increased, which is his Aghanim. So if you're not aware, Treant Protector's Aghanim Scepter now brings back one of his older abilities, Eyes in the Forest, which gives you a ward, basically, at a location. You can turn any tree into a ward. And when you cast Overgrowth, any tree that you've converted into an Eye in the Forest does Overgrowth in an AoE, and that actually does damage. Treant Protector's Overgrowth still doesn't do damage, but the trees Overgrowth will do damage, and that has been increased to 175 damage per second. And the cooldown on Eye of the Forest has been reduced to 25 seconds, so this is actually kind of viable. It's pretty good, Good buff for Treant Protector. You still got to farm up an Aghanim Scepter on Treant Protector, which is pretty hard. He's not like a you know, like a ancient apparition that can ult creep waves to farm or other things. It's really hard to farm an Aghanim Scepter on Treant Protector. But for it's pretty potent. Getting those wards and the ability to do damage with overgrowth, which is ridiculous, and the 25-second cooldown reduction is pretty strong. Troll Warlord, fixed fervor stack count being 1 stack too slow. That's really important. It means that he's attacking faster, quicker. And Troll didn't get picked a whole lot, 4.5% pick ban, but some teams like to run Troll. I can't remember the last person that ran Troll. I know Cloud9 will run him occasionally, especially Fada. Fada loves Troll Warlord. So. The tiny change means you can't get bonus damage from Avalanche plus Toss. That's actually really, really important. Someone wanted me to read the thing on the question mark on the Sniper. Shrapnel slowing damage does not stack with itself. I could have read that and known what I was talking about earlier, but instead I was an idiot. Happens to me all the time. And the fact that you can't do the Avatos combo is actually might make this hero not get picked much anymore. If you're not aware, it used to be that you could, if you avalanched and then tossed someone like ever so slowly after you started the avalanche, they would take double damage from the avalanche basically, and so it was a huge nuke. Let's see if it actually explains how much damage the Avatos combo does in the wiki. I don't think it. Yeah, an enemy under the effect of toss will take double damage from avalanche. And so the stun ends at exactly 1.25 seconds after the cast, and now 1.3 seconds for toss. So no more Avatos combo, which is unfortunate because I really like the Avatos combo. That was a lot of fun. Oh well. I think that makes the hero not so good early. He can't gank nearly as well as he could previously. Like, you're losing out on 300 damage. So that's pretty big. Okay, so let's think about this. People are questioning whether or not it actually gets rid of the combo or not. So let's look at this. So normally you avalanche, you toss them a couple of milliseconds after the avalanche starts, and they'll take double damage from the avalanche. Now the toss lasts 1.3 seconds. I think that means, you know what? Let's just test it. Let's just fucking get in here. This is the point of it anyway. Let's test this thing. I didn't want to reconnect. Oh well. That's the whole point of this, isn't it? All right. Oh. Watch me like completely fail and not be able to even do the combo correctly.
All pick.
Breathes life into his own stone.
Prepare for battle.
All right. Let's level him up so he actually has enough health. Okay. So, if you just do the normal avalanche and then toss, well, I actually punched him. That's about how much damage it takes. I punched him for 3. God damn it! I punched him for 300 damage.
30 seconds to battle.
Auto attack after spell off. Let's try this again. Avalanche. Toss. That's how much it should do. If you don't get the combo. If you do. I think it still does it. Yeah, it looks like it still does it.
The battle begins.
Yeah, looks like it still does double damage. Yeah, it definitely still does the combo. 100% still does the combo. Yeah, I could read the combat log, but I'm lazy. It might mean that you have to be a lot faster with it, so let's try like a slight delay. Still does it. Okay. So apparently that doesn't actually affect the combo like I thought. Oh, couldn't go to him. Okay, so it's not enough to actually break the combo. This means they're up in the air longer. That is an important distinction to make. Maybe that's a bug. Hopefully not. I liked it. You can just see the change in difference. Come on, guys. It's obvious to see. Alright. Tusk. Ice Shard's projectile speed has been increased. The shard duration after they like hit and stick in an area is increased. Walrus Punch is now an enemy target ability and is auto-castable, which means if you just like right-click it, then your next auto attack, if it's available, it'll just happen. And the cooldown has been reduced. Think of how like Jakiro's Liquid Fire used to work when you didn't have to cast it. It was just like whenever it was up, if you had an auto cast, it would just do it. Undying Soul Rip max units has been increased to 10 at level 1. That's actually really big. It's less units later, but now this is a really good 1-point wonder. It used to be that you would want to keep Soul Rip at like 2 points, maybe 3, because you could get, it's pretty easy to get like 10 creeps in a wave around when you're fighting. Now at level 1, you've got 10 creeps around. If you want to look at Undying's Soul Rip and how much damage it does per unit. So it makes the combo easier apparently. So I'm misunderstanding this a little bit. More time in the air, which means more time to get the full avalanche off. Makes sense. So there's a damage or heal per unit of 25, and now at 10 maximum units at level 1, that means if you've got 10 creeps around, it'll do 250 damage at level 1, or heal. 250 heal is a lot rather than 125, which is pretty significant. It doubles the damage or heal at level 1 for Soul Rip, so that's pretty strong. Vengeful, there's other stuff. Oh, but it reduced the damage per heal. I could have read that first to 18. So now instead we're going to see 18. Well, I don't have to do 18 times 10 in the calculator. It's 180. So 180 damage instead of 125 at level 1. So it's still a buff, still a good buff. Tombstone armor has been increased by 1, which is pretty important because I've noticed that Tombstone seems to be melting pretty fast. The Tombstone now has 5 armor, which is about 22% physical damage reduction, I think. And Flash Golem's max slow has been increased to 20% from 15, so that's good. Vengeful Spirit's Wave of Terror cooldown has been increased. Good, much needed. Down here, she's like the 10th most picked hero in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th most picked hero in the game. Deserved nerf. Vissage's Gravekeeper's Cloak recovery time has been buffed. That's good. Makes him a little more tanky. Visage has not been seen a whole lot. You'll see him in niche Visage Drow combos, but beyond that, not a whole lot. 178 picks is a pretty good bit. It's deserving of a small buff, which I think that's what this is. Warlock's Fatal Bonds cast range has been increased, and the radius of Fatal Bonds is increased as well. Fatal Bonds is a pretty strong ability, so that's good. Wind Ranger's power shot travel range has been increased from 1825 to 2600 units. Sniperino time. Power shot max damage is now dealt after 1 second of channel instead of 0.7, so it takes you longer to wind that thing up. It always channeled to 1 previously, but you could, if you're really good, you knew to stop it at 0.7 previously. Like you could time it just right. It's really hard, but you could get it. You didn't have to go the full duration. You could like clip. If you used to play WoW, you can remember like clipping your spells or knowing your latency, and you could like clip channeling spells early and they'd still do max damage. That's kind of what that was. And now it's always at 1 second, so you have to always let it channel the full way. The cast point has been increased, or has been improved, so there's just automatic. There's no build up before the channel starts. So it's effectively still 0.7 seconds before you actually get, it's still the same amount of time. So there's not really a change. It's actually 0.3 seconds faster if you're good. Reduce the area of lingering vision at the end of power shot to 400, and focus fire attack speed bonus is 400 to 500 since the change. So let's show just how long that is. The cast point has been improved, which means it's an instant cast now, and so it casts immediately, but the channel is still 1 second required. So if you were good at clipping power shot, that there is no change effectively for you. It still takes the same amount of time to get full damage. But if you weren't good at clipping, you're actually gonna deal full damage 0.3 seconds faster because there's no longer an instant. There is now an instant cast time for Wind Ranger. All right.
My quiver is full.
Oh no, I didn't level power shot. Idiot. Level up 26.
Prepare for battle.
I'm way ahead.
So let's take a look at this. Lengthy. Girthy. Pretty girthy right there. That's Snipe Town. That is like screen and a little bit more. That's pretty ridiculous. Oh no! Fucked it up again. Alright, here we go. There we go.
30 seconds to battle.
Look how girthy that is. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm having to do this with a single monitor setup since the summit, and so I can't look at OBS while I'm actually doing this. That was an excuse before, but nice.
Battle begins.
Girthy power shot now. And so that's it for hero changes. Oh yeah, I'll show the vision nerf. We should probably do that. Let's go back in there and show that. I still think she's bad. Like that's the range is cool and all, but
All pick.
in pubs maybe better, but I still don't think she's very good competitively.
I'm way ahead.
Okay, let's get in here to some Fog of War. And so that's the lingering AoE. Versus 800, which was a lot bigger previously. Probably about like this. There you go. Oh no, I did it again. I'm so bad.
I'm not ready.
There we go. Here we go. There's it. Ooh. Ah. So 400 instead. So a little bit smaller, but I think it makes up for the fact that the range is ridiculously long now. Okay, so that's it for hero changes. Item changes. Courier cost has been reduced. So on top of the TP scroll getting reduced last time, more support happiness as the animal courier now costs 30 gold less. Armlet of Mordigian recipe cost has been reduced from 600 to 500. That's very good because if we look at item stats for 6.82, it was the least bought item that wasn't like a recipe item like Shadow Amulet. I don't think that counts. And Divine Rapier doesn't really count. So Armlet of Mordigian was like the worst legit item in terms of how often it was picked up. So it definitely needed a buff, and this is a good one. How about I'm sure it's Scout's Roasting just like it used to. Blink Dagger. Blink is no longer disabled if you take no damage, e.g. from Spiked Carapace, Refraction, etc. So so it used to be if you had Blink Dagger and you had Refraction up, just taking damage even though something blocked it, just like the fact of you being attacked would disable Blink Dagger, but that's no longer the case. Bottle, a courier killing a non-full bottle will always be slowed instead of only been slow. So if you try to do the trick where you leave one charge on the bottle and send the courier back, it's still going to be slowed now. It will only be full speed if the bottle is completely full. Broadsword has replaced Talisman of Evasion in the side shop, which means you can't complete. You used to could complete your like butterfly or something because you could get a Talisman of Evasion and a quarterstaff at the side shop, which was a quick way to finish your butterfly, but no longer. I think you can still get. I'm trying to look at everything. Yeah, okay. So yeah, no longer can you get Talisman of Evasion that is replaced with a broadsword, which is interesting for like Andy Mage. You can buy blade mail. There you go, side shop blade mails. That's what's good about it. Yeah. I was trying to think of what that made good. I was like, Andy Mage, maybe you get a broadsword, but you still need the other sword from the. But now you can make blade mails at the side shop. Circlet cost has been reduced, so that means that null talismans, wraith bands, and bracers are cheaper. You can also you might see more people starting with a circlet now, which is pretty good. Mana restore on clarity has been increased. Look at all these support buffs. Crimson guard duration has been increased by 1. We stopped seeing so many Crimson Guards. It was really common, I think, at the beginning of 6.82. But then you didn't really see a lot. You can see here, Crimson Guard bought 241 times, slightly more than Desolator, but less than Diffusal Blade and Rod of Atos even. So not a whole lot of Crimson Guard pickups happened this patch. And so it got a bit of a buff. Diffusal Blade is no longer a unique attack modifier. Alright. Oh, I'm reading things like an idiot. The Null Talisman, Wraithband, and Bracer recipe costs have been increased by 20, so they cost the same. Circlets are cheaper. The entire item itself has been increased. The recipe itself, so they cost the same. Being an idiot again, trying to read too many things. Diffusal Blade is no longer a unique attack modifier, which is interesting. We're just kind of getting rid of unique attack modifiers now. It's like there's not a whole lot of things that really stop. Like all these hero orbs are being removed, a lot of them. But multiple mana break type abilities do not stack, which means you can't get Diffusal Blade Anti-Mage. If only. If only. Drum of Endurance charges have been increased to 6. Drum was actually in a pretty bad place. It still got bought a lot, but a lot of like carries and stuff weren't picking up Drum near as much as you used to see. Yule Scepter got a much needed nerf. Saw a lot of Yule Scepters being built. Let's look at most bought item. Yule Scepter up there with Ring of Aquila. More Yules than Midas's were being built. Almost as many as there were Urn of Shadows being built. Very, very popular item this patch, and so deservedly nerfed. And I think that's a direct nerf to heroes like Jakiro and Elder Titan as well. So if those heroes didn't get nerfed as much as you thought they should have, then this nerfs them as well. Healing Salve is now 5 gold cheaper. More support hurrahs. Helm of the Dominator. Dominated bonus health for the units that you dominate is increased. It's doubled. So your creep stacking creeps are healthier now. Can tank a little bit more. Max wand charges have been increased to 17. Alright. Sure. Why not? Recipe cost of Medallion of Courage has been increased from 200 to 325. Valor can now be cast on allies to give them armor. Interesting. Passive armor and exchange armor increased from 6 to 7. So the amount of armor you get on yourself is 7. And the amount that you will exchange, reduce on an enemy is now 7. You can also give an ally 7 armor. If we look up armor, taking someone from 1 armor to 8 armor is an increase in like 27% physical damage reduction. So pretty good, pretty good. Pipe of Insight's recipe cost was reduced by 100 and the barrier duration was increased. That's good. We weren't seeing a whole lot of pipes. Refresher Orb's cooldown was increased again. I think that happened again recently, but that has been increased again to nerf Refresher Orb. Shadow Amulet has now had its cost reduced, as we saw here. There weren't a whole lot of Shadow Amulets built this patch in the professional level. Very, very few actually. And your movement speed is now only interrupted when the invisibility starts, rather than when you cast it. So we can show that. Let's get into the game here, and remember to change the overlay. There we go.
Dire victory.
Oh, good timing. I was trying to use the game that already had reconnected, but apparently
You've got to be kidding me.
it ended. Alright. I don't think you can target yourself because you already have 7 armor from the medallion, and so being able to get like 14 armor from the medallion would be ridiculous. You probably still lose the armor that you have to give to an ally. It's just like exchanging. I don't care enough to do this.
My quiver is full.
Alright. So medallion now gives you 7 armor.
Prepare for battle.
And you can cast it on an ally plus 7 armor. You still lose the 7 armor. When this goes away, you will see you'll go back up to plus 7. And if you cast it on yourself, which apparently you can do, you still lose the armor and do not gain it. So you can cast it on yourself, but it does nothing but make you lose the armor. So please, for the love of God, don't cast it on yourself. If anything, that's probably a bug. They should probably remove the ability to cast it to yourself. We'll probably report that. I need to put that in my notes of things to report. I don't know if that's intentional. Medallion. Self-cast. Yeah, a new indication for the ally buff would mean, oh, it still says, it still got the reduction. That's a good point. Let's put that in the notes as well. Medallion, ally cast icon. Should probably be changed.
On it.
Alright, so that's it for the medallion changes. Additional changes. Gameplay. When spectating a game with Team's Fog of War selected, you can now only see what they can see in the in-world map and on the mini-map. So that's good. So you can see the enemy team's Fog of War a lot better. Improve server stability under UDP packet flood by moving packet processing off the game thread and onto worker threads. Interesting. So I'm not that familiar with how server stuff work, but I think this should make servers more resilient to DDoS. I think. If I'm not wrong. Everyone wants me to do focus fire with. Okay, I'll show the new focus fire with the 500 attack speed. Let's go into the game. My wish is your command sometimes.
Wild winds rising. Like the wind. As the arrow flies.
So the change. It increased focus fire attack speed has been increased by 100, and the new cap is 600, which means that if you get 100 extra attack speed, like from 2 hyperstones, you can now attack at the new cap of 600 attack speed.
On my way. My feet fly. Already moving. I run like the wind. My feet, I run like the wind.
Yeah, Wind Ranger's attack speed on focus fire has been increased to 500, but the cap used to be 500, which meant if you had plus 100 attack speed on focus fire, you capped out at 500 previously. Now if you have plus 100 attack speed with focus fire, you cap out at 600. And we can see the Santa hat.
Tower is under attack.
Alright, so that's Wind Runner normally.
Here goes.
Oh no, and
Your bottom tower is under attack.
pretty fast. Tink, 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 very fast.
Incoming.
And you can see the minus armor of yeah. It says -6 here, but it says it reduces armor by 7. but it only says -6 there. That's another bug report.
Here goes.
So really quick. Really quick. And you can even see the tree with the presents.
Already moving.
Alright. So back down to general changes. Yeah, this UDP packet flood thing should help DDoS attacks. I could be wrong, but I think it does. Added a sound effect that plays when Sanjin Yasha's MAME attack procs on an attack. Thank God. You could never tell when that happened previously. Let's see what that looks like. You know, I was talking to, I think it was Loda at Starletter 10. We were talking about how Sanjin Yasha's MAME, you never notice when it happens. And if there was a sound or an icon when it happened, people would pick the item more because it'd be, you'd know when you got the MAME. You'd realize how often it would happen. 5 Mjolnir press mom, it doesn't matter. You're still capped at 600, so plus 100 attack speed will get you to the cap with Focus Fire now. Because Focus Fire gives you plus 500 attack speed, and the new cap is 600, not 500, so just getting plus 100 attack speed, which is 2 Hyperstones worth, and you already have some base agility, is you just max out. But the lightning proc is ridiculous, especially now that the lightning proc is no longer capped by the internal cooldown. So you can just ting ting ting. That'd be fun. Oh yeah, I need to show this. I'll show Shadow Amulet. I want to show the animation for Sanjin Yasha. I'll show the Shadow Amulet change with it. Servers are being a little unstable. If I forget to show Shadow Amulet, yell at me. You start at 100 attack speed? Oh, okay. I actually don't know that. Okay, all heroes have a base 100 attack speed. I actually didn't know that. I probably should have known that. It's unfortunate that I didn't know that. It's too many mechanics. Alright, we'll play Rend Ranger again, I guess.
My quiver is full.
No, I didn't want to play Rend Ranger. I wanted to play a melee hero.
Prepare for battle.
I'll play.
I go. My feet fly. Of course. I run like
It
the
would probably be
wind.
better to get somebody who attacks fast, but I think that's fine.
I gust onward.
Okay, yeah.
Like the wind.
I did not know that about Focus Fire. Once again, not a Wind Ranger player.
On my way.
I also just didn't know that about base attack speed. Neutrals. Spawn neutrals. So I'm actually, watch your ears. I'm going to turn up the music just a little, the game volume just a little bit, so we can hear what it sounds like, because it's a sound and not a. See, it's just like a, and there's bleeding. There's a little more bleeding now, I think.
As the arrow flies. Already moving.
The battle begins.
There you go. See,
Time for target practice.
sounds like you're kind of snapping on the ground.
You've got my wind up. I'm way ahead.
That's
My feet fly.
All right, time to check out Shadow Amulet. Let's turn down the volume again.
On it like the wind.
Yeah, I was about to say that is pretty gory visuals. They might have to worry about that shit in China. It probably just flows black.
On it.
Check out the phase boot change for where they face right. That's interesting. Medallion of Courage. Shadow Amulet. Alright. So it used to be if you moved it all, now it would cancel. Now if you
Of course.
go, I can stop. And then it goes away.
On my way.
So it has a fade time of 1.5 seconds. What's the fade time? It's you over 1.5 seconds. So you can still
On it.
go and then stop. And you'll still be in this.
I'm
You have
way
about a
on top.
1.5 second grace period. before it breaks. And your hero even kind of stops moving,
Already moving.
if you notice. See, I still had a move command there. So if I go myself and then click over here, I will stop. So it even kind of makes it easy for you to use. All right. Alt-click. Alt-clicking now works on passive and unlearned abilities. You now alt-click on your own and your enemy's health and mana bars. You can alt-click on everything, it looks like. Just fucking everything. I could have just stayed in that last game, but you could just alt-click, 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 alt-click. Alright, Moon Ranger again, because apparently she's who we're
My
enjoying.
quiver is full.
So alt-click, circle shot, not learned, not learned, not learned, not learned. I have 100% HP, 100% mana.
Prepare for battle.
Let's see, what were the other things you could ping now? Let's see. Okay. Passive and unlearned abilities, as we saw here. Circle shot not learned, whatever, whatever. Mana and health bars. I'll click an item or ability that does not have enough mana. So, I don't think, is there anything that costs like 300 mana? I'm trying to think of active abilities. I can just buy the whole thing from the side shop. Now, is there anything there? Okay, I have enough gold. I'm just getting that from here. Yep. Look at it. It only costs 50 mana though.
30 seconds to battle.
Costs 70.
Not yet.
Let's get out of here.
As the arrow flies.
This gives me intelligence though, yeah, so I should probably just have one. And then on cooldown, I guess I already said it, but I guess I want to make myself lose mana. I'm not sure how to do it. I guess I can just spam my abilities.
Time for target practice. I run like the wind.
Yeah, I know. Kind of panicked. Oh, let's see if we can do, if it still shows it. It still says on cooldown. Let's wait till it gets off cooldown and see what it says. Not enough mana. So just like abilities, you use it for items. Alt-click buffs and debuffs on your heroes to announce to your team. So
Like the wind.
I'm affected by Windrun. Alt-click work now works for items without activation.
I go.
So I have stuff for wizardry now ready. Alt-clicked abilities that are ready now include the level of the ability. Shekel Shot level 1 is ready. Power Shot level 2 is ready.
It's not time yet.
Windrun level 2 is on cooldown. Alt-clicking on a dead enemy's icon in the top bar will announce that they are dead and when they will respawn. So let's kill us an Andy Mage. Let's create us an enemy anti-mage.
Your bottom tower is
Let
under
him
attack.
die. Enemy anti-mage will respawn in 2 seconds. Alt-clicking your respawn timer announces your respawn timer too. It seems to, I mean, I can go kill myself, but it's the same thing as we just saw. Alt-clicking on the glyph button will announce its status, and control Alt-clicking will suggest not using it. So, glyph fortification ready. Don't use yet, don't use yet, don't use yet. And if you use it,
Radiant structures
on cooldown
are
for 300
fortified.
seconds. Alt-clicking an animal's bottle now shows what rune is inside of it. So if the enemy anti-mage buys a bottle and goes picks up a blueberry, a double damage rune, I'll click on it and show it, just like we saw before. I think that's about it. There's some bug fixes here, large group control settings, death effects not playing, taunt with prediction charms. Yeah. Is there anything else? If there's any specific things that I didn't get to look over that you guys, clicking hero icons on the update page. Oh, okay. Where's that at? Oh, wrapping. That's nice. Making Snow Angel crawling into your computer. Oh god, let's show it. Crawling into your making Snow Angel. Teleporting beautifully. Reading patch notes. Look at that. That's cool. It's a nice little... I like these little Easter eggs. These are cool. Also the title. Nice. Well played. Well played. Alright. Anything specific you guys want to know? Anything that we didn't get to look over? Any cool synergy things? There weren't as many cool changes. There weren't any Aghanims upgrades added, which is very odd for a patch. Usually there's always some Aghanims upgrades added. Yeah, I will. I did try Force Staff and Gyro. I did show that, so I'm unfortunately not going to show it again. I am doing a local recording, so I will have... I don't know if we'll upload on the BTS channel, but you can check the VOD. There will be a VOD on my Twitch page, so you can watch that. It's pretty early on. Medallion -6 on Rush. Alk with 6 Mjolnirs and Mom buff. Why not? Let's just disconnect. There's some pretty cool ones. I love bear. Go for the Mohawk. That's cool. Alright. So let's go level up. RC. I think it's give _item.
Prepare for battle.
Oh, let's see. Let me look at the commands here. It's just item. Okay. Item. Item. Mjolnir. Okay. Item. Bomb. Okay. I guess it requires item. Yes. Is this mask work? Okay. Item. Okay.
30 seconds to battle.
So let's go attack Rush. The reason why I'm testing this, guys, if you're not aware, there's the inherent attack speed increase cap was increased from 500 to 600 in this patch, which makes Ursa a little bit stronger with his attack speed buff, and makes apparently stacking attack speed on Alchemist even more fun. Lowest attack BAT in the game at 1 when he pops his ult. Slap chop. This is.
Your
That's pretty good. You can use mom and pick up a fifth. Does spawn? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're already at with 6 Mjolnirs, with 5 Mjolnirs and a Mask of Madness. I'm pretty sure you're already at the cap. It's of 600. I mean, we can try. I don't know if spawn neutral spawns Roche. No, I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure that's cap. Yeah, you're already at. I'm already at 560 before mom, and with mom I'm at 660. Even though the cap's at 600, so with just 5 Mjolnirs in it, you're already at cap. I'm at 7, and that's even without the base attack time. So, fun stuff. Who controls the creep when Rubik and Nyx are in the same one? I don't know. I don't know if you can steal. It's really hard to steal Infest. Well, no, it's actually not. I think I can try. I think I can test that. Let's try it. Create hero. Nyx. I think that works. No, it doesn't. Does that work? Hero. Rubik. Enemy. Create. Okay. That's 25. Oh, come on. Alright, so infest this guy. I need my alchemist to go get vision of my Rubik. I managed to hide. No, 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 no! Oh, well. Micro skills. Alright. So, if Lifestealer erupts, Rubik steals, infest, infest, infest. It looks like Rubik does not gain the control ability as of now. So if I go to Lifestealer and I do control, it says ability isn't active, which is odd. Because I used it. I don't know, I think it's buggy right now. I don't think it's working correctly because we saw issues with it with Lone Druid Bear. But it looks like Rubik does not gain the control sub-ability, unfortunately. Alright, well I think that's about it. The patch notes are up at dota2.com/shiftingsnows if you want to look for yourself. The alt-click update. I did record this locally, I think, so we'll have it. There's also going to be the general Twitch VOD if you want to see it. A realistic alch build that gives more than 500 attack speed. I mean, you could get Mjolnir AC with your ult, and like a Mask of Madness should give you 600. I did try using Nyx on the Lone Druid Bear. It's kind of buggy. The first time you use it, it works, and you can actually attack outside of the leash range. But I tried to, if I ate him and then tried to summon another bear and infest the spirit bear again, I couldn't even control it at all. Like, couldn't do anything with it, so it's weird. You could control the hawk and do like a little bird bomb, which is fun. That's about it. Alright, thanks for checking in, guys. This is a lot shorter than the last one because there were a lot less Aghanim's upgrades to walk through, but it was a lot of fun. And enjoy the patch. And have a Merry Christmas, guys.